I'm Semakola Isaac, registration number 2025 stroke BS stroke 182 stroke PS. This is Group B, Unmasking Personality. In this video, our topic is the personality parade. Who are you? Our main mission in this video is to study the personality traits and how they influence on behaviors. 1. I will start with defining personality. Personality refers to the unique set of characters, behaviors, thoughts, and emotional patterns that define an individual's way of thinking and interacting with the world. It is shaped by both genetic and environmental factors.
My name is Arinito Paula, registration number 2025-BS-010. Continuing with the introduction part, understanding personality helps psychologists explain human behavior, predict responses, promote personal growth, and also mental well-being. In this video of unmasking personality, we as teacher trainees will be able to aim at helping learners appreciate individual differences and also develop emotional intelligence.
Yes, my name is Mukonde Stephen, registration number 2025-BS-043. I am here on behalf of Group B to present about the 5 big model of trait analysis. When we talk about the 5 big model, it is having 5 aspects, one of which is openness. Openness explains how a person has a vigor or a person's appetite to new experiences. In reference to our chosen character, that is Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, he portrays a very high degree of openness, evidenced by he was a musician, but he later joined politics with a view of knowing how politics goes on. Then the next point is conscientiousness. This one deals with how a person is organized, dependable, and goal-oriented. Again, with reference to our chosen character, that is Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, he portrays a very high degree of conscientiousness. Being a goal-oriented person, he chose to decide from being a musician to politician. That shows a very high degree that he was goal-oriented since he has joined politics right now. Then the next point talks about extroversion. Extroversion shows how a person is talkative, assertive, and social. Yeah, with the fact with our chosen character again, that is Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, he is too social and talkative. We witness this in his music and even the rallies that he makes on. We witness that he's too social with others. Then the last part, or the second last, that is agreeableness. For this part, agreeableness explains how a person is able to accept with whatsoever comes in. But in terms of trait analysis, we come to view that Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu is not a person who agrees, evidenced by coming up with this opposition party that tries to oppose the ruling government. Whenever President Museveni speaks this, he also opposes, meaning that he's not a person of agreeableness. He's a person who portrays a low value of agreeableness. And lastly, that is neuroticism. This one explains a person's emotions in terms of mental mindedness. With Robert Kyagulanyi, he is a person who is emotionally stable. Despite the torture, the threats, and the imprisonment, he has never given up. He has never shown a breakup. He is always focused into his missions of becoming a government ruler, that is in terms of the presidential posts. Now, all these aspects, it took us time, but we compiled, and here are the views. Thanks for the audience.
My name is Linden Aineviona, registration number 2025-BS-002. I'm going to analyze unconscious motives of Bobi Wine or Robert Kyagulanyi using the Fidelian concepts of id, ego, and super ego. Unconscious motives, these are the thoughts and desires and memories affecting the person's emotions and decisions without a conscious awareness of that person. Now, we know that Bob Wine grew up in a ghetto where attaining basic needs was a struggle. So this could have left some psychological imprints and unconscious motives in him that are driving him in his day-to-day moves. For example, we see that he was a famous musician. So this one could drive him in his confrontation attacks that he's always carrying out on the ruling government, always attract attention and remain famous to the people and the outside world. In relation to Delian concepts of id, ego, and superego, id is the primitive part of personality that works on the pressure principle. It seeks gratification immediately without considering consequences. The id of Chagrani or Bob Wine is seen on his campaigns where he is using a lot of energy to impact change without considering the consequences, saying that the regime is unjust, so it must change now. Then ego is the rational and conscious part of personality. This mediates the id demands, superego, and the reality. In Bob Wine now, if you were to compare Bob Wine and ego, we see him leaving music where he was famous and coming to politics. This one indicates that he's coming to reality. He's not singing for change. He saw that singing will not change anything, so he decided to come into reality and go into politics. And another thing is superego. Superego, this is the moral part of the society, where you gain from the society and the parents. We see this in Bob Wine where he went ahead to attain a degree in law. This one shows that he's willing to effect change using moral and ethical acceptable ways. So that's how I can analyze the concept using Fidelian motives.
My name is Kawanda Isaac Wakuze, 2025 BS 117 PS. I'm here to discuss Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu with respect to the Adlerian perspective of personality. According to Alfred Adler, personality is shaped by an individual's effort to overcome their feelings of inferiority, strive for superiority, and show social interest through community contribution. I'll break down every aspect. The first aspect is striving for superiority. Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu was born in Kamocha, a suburb in Kampala. He started with humble beginnings as a local musician. He then became a successful musician, and later he became a highly respected political figure. This shows his drive to overcome inferiority and his early life limitations. The second aspect is compensation for inferiority. Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu had early life limitations, and to compensate this, he worked hard in education, where he achieved a bachelor's degree in law at Cavendish University in Uganda. He also became a nationally recognized musician and a nationally recognized political figure. Yes. Another aspect is social interest. Adler suggests that every person who is mentally healthy cares for others. Now, for Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu's political slogan of people power, our power, and his campaigns against human rights violation, they show his concern for the community. Yeah, and that's the aspect of social interest. The fourth aspect is goal-oriented life or personality. Robert Chagulanyi, you can see him when his shift from entertainment to politics. They show a clear goal of national transformation. His goal of national transformation, yes. Then, in conclusion, the life of Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu illustrates Adler's theory of personality through his rise from inferiority to social leadership and his goal-oriented actions towards national transformation.
This is the Kankwasa Daily Correct number 2025 BS209 PS. I'm representing Group B on humanistic perspective. and where Carl Rogers sees this humanistic perspective as innate goodness of people whom truly they are and what they wish they should be. And this humanistic perspective was just thin and broadened into 5 concepts, where we have self-concept, we have conditions of positive regards, we have conditions of worthy, we have congruence and incongruence, and self-actualization. And when we talk about self-concept, here a person sees himself and the exact person whom he is. And our character, we have used it, Bob Wine, where he sees himself as a voice of voiceless citizens and a leader who champions for equality and justice within the society. That is self-concept. And when we talk about conditions of unworthy, the society usually sets some conditions they want you to be, and you can be respected once you remain like this. And according to the society of Chaguran Center, was to be respected once he remains within the entertainment field. But he himself sees himself as a person who can easily defend the equality within the society. And when we think of positive regards, here we find that the society reaches at a point of accepting and loving what you desire to be, where Bob Wine continued and desired to on positive regards, the community sees you and reaches at the point of accepting and loving what you desire and what you have manifested in. Where the community has seen Bob Wine as a person who desires for equality within the community, and they have started loving him and accepting to receive love from his friends and the family. And when we talk about incongruence and congruence, this congruence basically brings harmony within ideal self and real self, where on real self sees himself is exactly an artist, but ideal self sees a person who can just lead a community for equality and harmony within the society. And when we talk about incongruence for it, we find that there is some instabilities between real self and ideal self. And lastly, we talk about self-actualization, where for him trying to contest within the present shape, the community sees himself that he has the potential to lead, and they start supporting him. That is what we can talk about humanistic perspective.
I'm Awao Joseph, registration number 2025/BS/076/PS. I will take part in the introversion.
I'm Mario Anthony, 2025/BS/090/PS. I'm doing introversion.
I'm Janandika Wilfred Amara, registration number 2025/BS/04.
This is Siava Rogers, registration number 2025/BS/199/PS. Going to take part in introversion.
Guys, we have a topic to discuss in psychology about diffusion. Do you mind if we form a group and we distribute the work and discuss?
Which group?
I mean for psychology, about the diffusion.
Maybe I will do research on it.
So we do the research. Okay, me I'll do the typing. How about you?
Yeah, I'm not part of you. Not part of you.
But you have?
What are we going to do then?
I think you can go and present for us.
Really? I don't think I'm good at speaking, because last time I presented, our group got a 0. We were the last.
I think my guy here can present.
Okay, I can present when you do everything.
Okay.
My name is Nambishna, 2025 BS 052, and I'm presenting on extroversion.
Akandwa now recent 2025 stroke BS stroke 003, taking part in extroversion.
My name is Ahmed Faith Edith, 2025 BS stroke 006, taking part in extroversion.
My name is Amga Brian, 2025 BS 216 PS, taking part in extroversion.
Remember, the topic of discussion is diffusion, and to my opinion, I think diffusion this refers to the process by which molecules transfer from or move from region of high concentration to a region of lower concentration along the concentration gradient.
Okay, what do you mean by the term concentration gradient?
Concentration gradient, I think that is the difference between the concentrations of a substance in areas or in certain areas.
Oh, where does the diffusion take place?
Diffusion takes place both in liquids and in gases. I can give an example. Gases. For example, when someone fumes him or herself and then enters a certain room, there is a possibility of us hearing that fume after some time. So the movement of those particles from that person to to the whole room is what we call diffusion.
But why can't diffusion take place in solids?
Okay, that is because diffusion, since there is movement of molecules, there is flow of molecules, and solid particles are fixed. So in solid particles, there is no flow of molecules, which is the case in gases and fluids and liquids. Because gases and liquids are fluids, there is flow of molecules.
Yes, that is true. Also, for the case of liquids, like let me get an example of tea. Like when you pour hot water into a cup, then you get tea leaves, then you put inside. You find out that after some time, the tea leaves spreads all over the hot water inside. So that is also diffusion.
Registration number 2025/BS/104/PS. I'll add to what my colleague has said about conclusion. Yeah, I start from psychoanalytic theory. This one focuses on unconscious motives and childhood behavior that affect personality. When you go to trait theory, this one it focuses on identifying, describing and measuring the behavior of a person. It describes personality in terms of straight, stable traits and characteristics that affect behavior. When we go to humanistic theory, this one, it emphasizes personal growth, free will, and the will to achieve full potential. Yeah. Okay.
My name is Umuhereza Aban, registration number 2025/BS/040. I'm handling the conclusion part, which says that summarize that personality is complex and can be viewed in different lenses. To begin with, personality is complex because it can be described by the interaction or the combination of genetic, environmental, and situational factors. Also, what you should know is that personality isn't described fully by a single fixed trait. Rather, it's by the collection of various characteristics, behavior, and perspectives. Under the theoretical perspectives of the lens, we shall talk about the psychoanalytic perspective that was done by Freud, and all around that was all about unconscious motives. And then we shall talk about trait theory that aims at focusing on first
trait theory that focuses on identifying, describing and measuring behavior, then social cognitive. Then as my friend will describe those parts. Thank you.